Hey guys, Sarah Halina here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the secret society of second-born royals, so stay tuned. Okay, so I watched the Secret Society of Second-Born Royals like last week when it came out, but I wanted to let it sit with me for a while before I actually reviewed it because most of the time my opinions change as time goes on. But I have to say that I did enjoy it. Was it a fantastic movie? No, it wasn't. It certainly was not a fantastic movie. It definitely had its problems, and I will definitely get into those later. But it was enjoyable. Now, the movie centers around 5 second-born royals who discovered that they have superpowers and are training to be inducted into the Secret Society of Second-Born Royals, which is a secret society that essentially is made up of the spares in the royal families, and basically they save the world, I guess? I don't know. But, instead of telling the typical story of the heirs to the throne, the fact that it dives into the spares is what really intrigued me. Now, don't get me wrong. I love stories about, the heirs coming into their own and discovering who they are and what type of leader they want to be. But there is something magical about watching the spares discover that, just because they won't be king or queen doesn't mean they don't have a role to play in their families. Now, overall, I would rate this movie 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't great, but it wasn't all bad either. It was just sort of there. It's a fun movie to watch with the family, and honestly, it's one of the better Disney Plus originals. I'm looking at movies and series, but, that's just my opinion, and it's by no means a masterpiece. There's a slight rewatchability factor to it, but I think knowing what's coming may actually kind of make the movie worse, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I kind of try to avoid going too deep into spoilers up until this point, but now we're going to be diving into spoiler territory, so plot details will be discussed. If you have not seen the movie yet, go watch it, then come back here. Trust me, this is not a movie that you want to have spoiled for you, because that is less fun. So go watch it, then come back here, and then hear my deep thoughts, I guess, on this movie. Alright. You guys have been warned. Spoilers ahead. Final warning, guys. Alright. So, the one thing that I loved about this movie, the one thing that this movie did right, was that no second-born royal is ever born with the same powers. So we spend quite a bit of time, I guess, trying to discover what every character's powers are in a fun, though not great, training session that is equipped with lasers as they try to get to this glowing pyramid thing. So the character's powers. So we have Sam, and her powers are super senses, which means that she can see and hear things by focusing on them. And we kind of get a hint of her powers at the beginning when she is able to see the security code and unlock a door at this club that her and her friend Mike want to go to. So her powers are super senses. Then we have Tuma, and his power is persuasion. And he can compel anyone to do anything he wants them to do, regardless of what it is, regardless of how weird it is, regardless of how, mundane it is. He can essentially compel them to do whatever he wants. Now, we learn that he feels guilt about this because he got his friends in trouble for, I think it was starting a fire, because he always thought that it was their choice to do it. But he realizes that it actually wasn't. Because he was the one that told them, hey, we should do this. They did it. Then there's Roxana. And Roxana has the power of invisibility. There's not much more to say about that. She can turn invisible. And then there's Mateo. And he has the power to control insects. Yeah, you heard that right. It's definitely the weirdest power. But it does come in handy in the end. And probably, honestly, one of the most cringy CGI scenes I have ever seen. I'll get to more on that later. And then finally we come to January. And her powers are essentially that she can take other people's powers. Very convenient. Very useful for her. Definitely. Yeah. Now, there are plenty of things that don't work about this movie, but one of those things is the pacing. Like, there are some parts that just drag out probably about 5 times longer than they need to. And then there's some parts that just, it's blink and you'll miss it moments. And it's like, surely we could have found some form of, like, consistency, but nope. It's just some parts, it's like dragging on, and some it's blink and you miss it. And now I get that the reason for this is probably because the movie needs to develop the characters and their dynamics with each other. But honestly, they don't do a really good job of that anyways. The only character dynamics that are really kind of explored are Sam and January. Those two and their friendship and everything like that is really what is the, I guess, glue that holds this movie together. Now, there is dynamics between Sam and Tuma that are developed briefly. And then there's, like, the idea that Roxana and Mateo might end up falling for each other. But, yeah, not only do Roxana and Mateo get the short end of the stick when it comes to dynamics with other characters, but they also get the short end of the stick when it comes to being developed as characters by themselves. Like, they're just sort of characters that are there. Like, they don't do much. They don't have a story, really. And it's like, why? Why have them in this movie at all if you're not going to do anything with them? And, honestly, Tuma, he's another one that's not really developed as a character, but, I mean, he has more development as a character than Roxana and Mateo, so I guess that's a win for Tuma. Yeah, it really seems that Sam and January are the only ones that are developed as characters, and obviously there's reasons for that, but it's just like, why? Why have these characters if you're not going to do anything with them? Anyways, moving on. So, another thing this movie tries to do is it tries to be suspenseful. And it tries to keep you guessing as to what is actually happening behind the scenes and stuff like that. It's kind of like a good movie or book mystery, but not. They really kind of fail at the whole, something's going on here and you don't fully know what it is. It's like, I mean, we can kind of figure it out. For one thing, Sam's mom, the current queen and head of the secret society, tells the professor, a fellow second-born royal and member of secret society, that she has only told Sam what she needs to know, which never really ends well for anybody. But you know, what does that mean? Well, we learned that Sam's father and uncle were killed in a plane crash, but surprise, surprise, it was just her father that died. Her uncle is the prisoner that escaped at the beginning of the movie and has been plotting from some sort of tower, I guess? I don't know. Anyways, it's revealed that he killed his brother because he hated the monarchy or some random reason like that. Honestly, it doesn't make much sense. But, you know, if you couldn't put the pieces together near the beginning, there's a moment later on when Sam is shown the headquarters, or as she likes to call it, the Batcave. And she notices that while there are some second-born royals' pictures in frames along the walls, including one that is very clearly supposed to be Prince Harry. Kind of weird to include a live prince in a movie that is all about the Spares having secret powers. Very odd. But yeah. Anyways, we see it twice in the movie, so clearly it's supposed to be significant in some way. But anyways, there's one empty frame. And when Sam asks her mother, like, what's up with that type thing, her mother basically tells her that once it had a picture of a member that betrayed them, and they essentially leave it empty as a reminder that anyone can betray them. And all I could think in that moment was hashtag foreshadowing. As if this movie wasn't spelling out clues along the way. That moment right there, it's like, okay. Like, by this point, I know where this is going. But about where this is going, let's talk about the twist, because it was obvious if you were paying attention. But it's also the part of the movie that I like to call where things finally start happening. Like, this whole movie is essentially set up for, like, 3/4 of the movie. And then, like, the last quarter of the movie is, like... Well, I guess it wouldn't even be the last quarter. It's sort of like the... Maybe, like, 10 minutes action starts happening. And then we go to, like, conclusion. And it's like... What? But anyways, the part of the movie where things actually start happening. It's Coronation Day. And Sam's older sister, Eleanor, is about to be crowned queen. And royals from everywhere are in attendance, and Sam has invited her fellow second-borns to join her. And Tuma, Roxana, and Mateo are basically entering together. It's the three of them together, and they're super excited. They're like, this like is amazing. The decorations and everything are just phenomenal. But Sam and January are nowhere to be found. So the trio of underdeveloped characters deduce that Sam must be with her sister helping her get ready. But when Tuma tries to use his powers, he realizes that they aren't working. Yes, January's powers are to take other characters' powers. So... you guessed it, we cut to Sam's Uncle Edmund in his jail cell. Now, think of the jail cell as the meta prison from CW's Flash. Like, it basically keeps them contained, but it also has, like, devices to, like, dampen or, like, essentially remove their powers while they're in prison so they can't escape. Yeah, very much meta prison from Flash. And January is right there, revealing how she's working with him. In basically the typical villain monologue. Like, yeah, she's working with him because he promises to get rid of her twin brother, who is older than her by a few minutes, and she wants to be the heir, so he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill your brother for you if you work with me. So, she's been working with him the whole time. She helped him escape in the beginning of the movie. Perfect. But yeah, basically Screen Rant has a list of clues that were present throughout the movie that actually kind of revealed this twist. Now, this movie is going on a lot longer than I thought it was going to, so I'm just going to link the article in the description down below, and you guys can go check it out, because honestly, it was in plain sight. Now, January gets Edmund out, uses Tuma's powers to convince the trio to go into the cell, and then proceeds to help Edmund eliminate all the royal heirs. Sounds like a great plan, doesn't it? But she is stopped by Sam and Sam's friend Mike, who knock her unconscious, but just leave her there. I mean, they grab, like, the rope, so it looks like they're gonna, like, tie her up, but we don't actually see them tying her up. And she does manage to disappear, so if they did tie her up, they didn't do a very good job of it. Then Sam frees her friends, and the four of them, along with Mike, work to stop Edmund. And then we come to the cringe CGI moment that I mentioned earlier. So, once Sam gets the bottle, tube, I don't know what to call it, with the help of Roxana and Tuma, she jumps off the roof. Yep, the castle roof. Very high up, she jumps off of it. Don't worry, she doesn't get hurt though, because Mateo is there to command a swarm of butterflies to carry her down to the ground. All I know is, like, I got the still image in somewhere on the screen, and that is, like, that actually looks good compared to when you see the actual, you know, video of it. It's just, it's so cringy. And it's like, really, Disney? Like, you couldn't give them more money to make that better? Like, what is happening here? Because, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But eventually Mike traps Edmund in his bottle. I'm going to call it a bottle. And it seems very much like it's like the bottle universe from Supergirl on the CW. Yeah, it seems like they're borrowing a lot of things from the CW over here, but yeah, it's like he essentially gets sucked into the bottle, and that's where he remains forever, maybe? I don't know. That's the last we see of him. And then, of course, the coronation went off without a hitch. Everybody was safe. Eleanor is now queen. She's going to be a modern day queen, and she's going to listen to the people, and she's going to give the people a voice, and they're going to have a parliament with the crown and all that. I don't know. But yeah, basically that's that. And then we cut to the scene back in the training facility where the four remaining second-borns get to the pyramid by learning that they are stronger when they work together. So, of course, there's a lesson in this movie. You're stronger when you work together. Rely on people. Count on them for help. You don't have to bear the burden of everything by yourself. I mean, it's a good message, but, you know, it's there. And inside this glowing pyramid that, like, opens up is their little secret society pins. I'm like, you all have pins for the secret society. It's not a secret anymore. And I mean, Mike and Eleanor, because, I mean, Mike found out because Sam told him, but Eleanor found out because her mom told her. Yeah, they all know about the secret society, so, again, not much of a secret. Anyways, with the spares now being official members of the Secret Society of Second-Born Royals. Their first mission is to capture January. Yep. Because, like I said, they didn't do a very good job of tying her up if they did. Because she has broken into an unbreakable bank in Geneva. And she left a fingerprint behind as a way to taunt the society and challenge them to come after her. And that's exactly what they're going to do. So they board their private jet and head off to capture their former friend and end the movie. Yep. That's it. That's the end of the movie. It just ends. And it's the weirdest spot to end the movie. Like, it's bizarre. And that's why everyone seems to agree that there is a perfect setup for a sequel. And I can't imagine that they won't jump on board to do that. I mean, why not? And honestly, though, I think if done right, the sequel to Secret Society of Second-Born Royals could be the rare case in which the sequel is better than the original. Because realistically, they would just have to jump right into action. Like, they don't have to set up much of anything. Like, we got the setup in the first movie. But I will say that one thing I really hope that they do when they eventually, inevitably do a sequel is I really hope that they dive more into Tuma and Roxana and Mateo as characters, their dynamics with, each other and with Sam, because I feel like we didn't really get a whole lot of that, and they have the potential to be amazing characters, if given the opportunity. So, give them the opportunity. Yeah, so that is my thoughts on the movie. I mean, like I said, it was a movie that was just there. But yeah, let me know. What did you all think of Secret Society of Second-Born Royals? Do you think that there will be a sequel? And if there is, will you be watching it? Yeah, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my latest videos. Follow me on all the socials. The link is in the description down below. And I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys.